which is from Michael Bullitt. It's in the light of where David Cameron was today. Michael Bullitt.
What difference would an independent Scotland make to my life in Nottingham?
What difference? Do you think it would make any difference?
I don't think so particularly, no.
Right. What difference would an independent... So you're indifferent, really, to whether it happens or not?
Yeah, I'm very much indifferent to it.
John Prescott, what difference would an independent Scotland make to life here in Nottingham?
Well, if it's outside the UK, I believe in the UK framework. But I tell you what is going to come from this debate, something I've long believed in, having regional government. So in the East Midlands or the North or the South, you should be able to have your own powers to deal and resources to deal with your problems. And that's part of devolution. I think it's coming. I failed to get it in the North East when I put it to them. But, you know, devolution in Wales and Scotland took 20 years from the first referendum to the second one. So distribution of power is important, because the arguments about the money differences between Scotland and England as much as between the North, the Midlands and the South, and it needs to be changed.
OK, so that's what you think Nottingham will get out of an independent Scotland. Ken Clarke.
Well, I think it would diminish the role of both the English and the Scots, of course with the Welsh and the Northern Irish, in the sense that our clout internationally will be reduced and our political influence...
Michael Bullitt doesn't seem to think
no,
that.
But I was going to go on to say, when you get into things like trade policy, when you get into things like economic discussions, our role in the G20, our role in, with the IMF and the World Bank and so on, the fact, you know, for all of us to choose to diminish ourselves, for the Scots to become a small European country, and for the English, Welsh and Northern Irish to become a much diminished one, can indirectly have an effect on our ability to look after the interests of everybody in Nottingham. I'd see no point in reviving medieval kingdoms in order to actually make sure that we're all rather smaller on the world stage. And we're in a globalised economy, so it can affect your daily working life.
So be very afraid. Owen Jones, are you afraid?
No, I'm not. I mean, look, this is a panel of non-Scots, and of course it is up to the Scottish people what they do with their future. But I do think, actually, it would be a shame. I think dividing people up and nationalism are not good things. I think many of us, we're a mixed community. Most of my family actually live in Scotland. I partly grew up in Falkirk when I was younger. And I think it would be a shame to break up people.
But what difference would it make to life in Nottingham?
Well, you could say, what difference would it make if Cornwall disappeared, or
what difference would it
of
make?
the southwest? I just don't think it's good to break people up. I think we should unite people where we can.
OK, the woman there, the dark hair, in the second row from the back.
If it does make a difference, shouldn't we all be allowed to vote, not just Scottish people?
Yes, because he was... Susan Kramer, if it makes a difference, shouldn't we all vote?
I think, again, it's self-determination for the Scots, and you could argue that everybody should have a voice, but it seems to me Scotland is far more impacted than England and Wales and Northern Ireland are impacted.
But there seemed to be quite a lot of applause for that point, didn't there?
No, I understand that, but I do think that for those who are living in Scotland, they have to decide. You don't want to force people to be part of a country if that's not what they want to do. If the Scots want to pursue their own separate identity and feel they have to have a country that's separated in which to do it, then it seems to me that's a choice which they make. Like other people, I think our common history, our diversity, are rich things. They're part of our culture. We cross the borders without even thinking of them as borders. And there is a sort of element of brotherhood. I don't think we particularly benefited that. So when Ireland, that's separated and became a separate country.
Oh, really?
And
so you're for... Oh, I see. So you want Ireland back in the United Kingdom,
I think it's for the
rather far-fetched, this one. I
think it's
don't think you're going to get that. All right. All right, I'm going to stop you, Julie Maher.
I think it's really ultimately economics. I said earlier, you know, this comes up...
It's the entrepreneur's problem.
Quebec in Canada, right? There's always an element inside of Quebec that want to break away. Why do they never break away? It's because, frankly, they can't afford to, right? And that's what every Quebecois will tell you, is just that, you know, and so I think it's a little bit of nationalism that rears its head all the time and so forth. But
do you think it'll make a difference?
I don't think it'll ever happen.
Do you think, well, that's another thing. Do you think it'll make a difference?
Well, to the average person in Nottingham, I think the economics are such that England would be better off if Scotland were separate. I think most people understand that.
Okay, one more point from the man in the middle there, you sir. Briefly.
I think, what will happen is if Scotland go out there and fail, the taxpayer might be asked to bail them out, and that would be the effect of...
so you don't want them to leave because they might fail if they did?
Yes.
All right. Well, as you said, we've got no Scots on the programme. We were just talking about Nottingham, so forgive us for that. But anyway, our hour's up.